But the one guy, there was two guys that were high profile like that there was a hit on. Or they were thinking about it. One was Giuliani, and the other, believe it or not, was Geraldo Rivera.
Holy. Really?
Yes. And I told him this when he interviewed me once. I said, I was on Hannity with him.
Oh, my God.
He almost died. Mike, he almost died when he turned white.
Oh, sure. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Hot Boxing. I'm Eben Britton.
And I'm Mike Tyson.
And Mike, we've got something serious today. We've got Michael Franzese in the Hot Box. Welcome. Thank you so much.
Good to be here. All right, Mike, good to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us. I don't know. I mean, I think we just need to start where you grew up.
I'm on YouTube. I see you on YouTube all the time. So you always have your picture on YouTube.
I think, we just have to start back at the beginning.
Yeah, let's do it.
Back in the beginning. Well, I grew up in Brooklyn, Greenpoint section, and my dad was the underboss of the Colombo family back in the 60s. So I grew up in that environment. And he was very highly publicized. You know, for some reason, I found out later on, with all the guys around, they seemed to just pick my dad as kind of the main guy, the media guy, the guy the government was after all the time. Huh. So I grew up in an environment where we had law enforcement around us all the time. I grew up actually hating the police. I hated them because my dad was my hero, and they were kind of like the enemy, always looking to indict him, arrest him, always around our house. Their tactics back then were very different than they are today. Today, everything is very covert. You got a lot of informants, a lot of, high-tech surveillance equipment.
Overtly break the law.
Oh, yeah.
Back then, yeah.
Back then, they had 7 or 8 different agencies following my dad, and they'd have a car parked around my house 24/7. So wherever we went, I was one of 7 kids. We had a parade of law enforcement vehicles following us. And I got into many scuffles with them, had many incidents, and so I grew up hating them. And my dad, he was indicted 3 times in the state for murder, for grand larceny, and some other thing. He beat all of those cases. But then in '66, they indicted him in federal court for masterminding a nationwide string of bank robberies. Convicted and sentenced to 50 years. It was the longest sentence for a bank robbery conspiracy case ever given up to that point. Loses all his appeals in 1970, and they shipped him off to Leavenworth Penitentiary to do his time. So I was, my dad wanted me out of this life. He didn't want me to get involved. I was actually a pre-med student at Hofstra University in Long Island. But When he went in, I was devastated. I mean, 50 years. He was 50 when he went in. Figure, it's a death sentence.
Yeah.
So, Joe Colombo was very close to me at that time. He kind of took me under his wing. I started meeting a lot of my dad's friends. And I just lost interest in school. And I went to see my dad. Mike, I'll never forget. I said, Dad, bank robbery? I mean, what is this all about? And he looked at me and he said, son, I was framed. I'm innocent. I'm not a bank robber. And I believed him. And until this day, I'm telling you, my dad did 40 years on that sentence. And he did it for a crime he didn't convict. My dad was no bank robber. And so I said, I got to help you out.
They got to get you for something.
They had to
get you for something. When they're on you, they're on you.
Yeah, he beat him so many times, I had to do something, So, at that point, we were in the penitentiary in Leavenworth, and he said, look, if you're going to be on the street, I want you on the street the right way. And it was at that point that he proposed me for membership in the family. And that's how things kind of started for me.
Wow.
Now, listen, how old were you when you became a made man?
I was, when I became a recruit, I was 22.
Yeah.
And I took the oath when I was 24, 2 years later.
All right, so listen, how do your mindset, like my mindset.
Yeah.
So I'm a made guy in the neighborhood. Nobody could fuck with me, put their hands on me, but I could fuck with you. How do you do that? Look, my mentality. I'm a young 20-something-year-old guy. Hey, I don't like this fucking guy, but I love his girlfriend. Kill that motherfucker. That's my main time, you know what I mean? If I want this, kill them. You know what I mean? If I want that fucking house, he has a business, fuck him. If I was a mob, so does that thought goes through your mind?
Mike, now, honestly, I got involved in a life really to help my father. I mean, that was my whole motivation.
Oh, see, I would be so self-absorbed and stuff from the mob. If I was in the mob, I'd be so self-absorbed.
Yeah, but you know what? It happens. I mean, it's a rush because, you know, you got a ringside table wherever you go. People give you a lot of respect. And, you know, you try to carry yourself the right way. You don't want to abuse that.
How do you do? You never had that before, and all of a sudden, boom. It's never like this. I give you a little bit at a time. It's just all at once. Boom. You're made.
Yeah, but understand, I grew up with it. You know, I mean, look, I spent my childhood in the Copacabana meeting everybody from Sinatra on down. Yeah. So, you know, my dad was that kind of a guy. I mean, when he walked into a place, I mean, he was a different guy.
Respected.
People really looked up to him. They really respected him. He carried himself well, and he was a tough guy. I mean, there's no question about it, you know. So, I mean, I grew up around it, and I really admired and respected my dad. But when I got into the life, you know, number one, I wanted to get him out of prison, so I worked hard on that. And number two, honestly, I wanted to be the best possible mob guy I could be. So
what's that consist?
Yeah, what did that mean?
You know, in that life, you kind of make your own way. They had guys. I'll give you an example. I took the oath in 1975, right on Halloween night. Actually, there were 6 of us that night that took the oath, and we had 115 made guys that actually took the oath. Out of the 115, 20 of us were earners. The other guys were just.
That means you bring in money.
Yeah, we were earning. We were earning really for everybody else. The other guys who got him a union job, who was doing a little bookmaking, you know, trying to scratch out a living. So I was determined to make money, and I had a head for business, and I used the life. I knew how to use the life to benefit me that way. So I took advantage of that, you know, and I got involved in a lot of different things. And, you know, I came upon a scam. I'll tell you what happens, Mike. There was Italian guy around me, right? He kept coming to me. He had a couple of gas stations on Long Island. He had like a wholesale operation. So he comes to me and he says, Mike, he says, you know, I got these 2 guys from another family. They keep trying to extort me. He said, you got to help me out. Because I was kind of the guy on the island when I moved out there. I did some research on this guy, and I found out that he had testified in a civil case against the governor's brother at the time. So I didn't want to have anything to do with him, right? He kept coming back. He said to me, listen, if you help me out, I got a way to defraud the government out of some tax on gasoline. So he got my attention, right? I hated the government. So I said, well, explain it to me. So he tells me this little thing. I said, all right, we're going to go into business together. I said, I want to form a new company. That's it. So I get rid of the 2 guys that were bothering him. I didn't get rid of, you know, I made them go away. And I put this guy, Vinny, around me. I had a guy around me. He was a big guy, right? He was a butcher. Big scar across his head, a real,
Sounds
you know,
gnarly.
Yeah, a real 4x. I says, Vinny, watch this guy, Larry. Let's see if he's got something. Tell me what he's got. About 2 weeks later, he comes to my house on a Saturday. He used to bring me meat every Saturday. He was my butcher. And he's got a box on his shoulder. And he rings the doorbell.
You're hoping it's money, right?
Yeah, no, I'm saying, what are we doing with all this meat? We having a party or something? I don't know about it. He says, hey, Chief, come into the kitchen. It ain't meat. He puts the box on the table. He opens it up, $320,000. He said, this is the first week's take in the gas business. Smelled like gasoline, right? I didn't care what it smelled like at that point, but he got my attention. So what happened, Mike, over the next 8 years, I took that from $320,000 that week to almost $10 million a week. We had about 350 gas stations.
So how many people were getting that money? How many people did you have in your crew that was getting that money?
Well, you know, I was supporting a lot of people, the guys at work, and I was kicking up to the family. I was giving them $2 million a week. You know, you got $2 million a week. It buys a lot of loyalty, as you know. You know what I mean? So
I would think after hell yeah, I would say, go ahead, man, do what the fuck you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, you know. And so they made me a captain in 1980. They elevated me to that position. And I grabbed, I got a deal with all the Russian guys out of Brighton Beach. You know, they were my partners, too. They were great partners.
Like, can I stop you real quick? What does it mean as a captain? Do you have people under you?
Yeah.
That's what.
I'll tell you the rank. You got a boss, an underboss, a capo regime, you know, a consigliere, and consigliere rather, and a capo regime. The capo regime is a captain. And then the next official position is soldier. So when you come into the life, when you take the oath, you become a soldier. And then you either stay that way or you go up from there.
And when are you made? When are you a made guy?
You know, listen.
At any point?
No. You got to go.
You can't be a soldier.
I'll tell you what happened.
I guess.
When my dad sends me, now Joe Colombo had been shot, if you remember. He was seriously wounded. Yeah, 71. And Tom DeBello was the new boss. He took over. He's dead now. And I sat with Tom, and he says, Mike, I got a message from your father. He said, you want to become a member of our life. Is that true? I said, yes. He said, here's the deal. From now on, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you're on call to serve this family. That means if your mother is sick and dying, and you're at her bedside and we call your service, you leave your mother, you come and serve us. From now on, we're number one in your life. Before anything and everything. When and if we feel you deserve the privilege, the honor to become a member, we'll let you know. And you're in a recruit period where you have to do anything and everything you're told to do to prove yourself worthy. And, listen, people ask all the time, the number one question, Mike.
Kill anybody.
Did you ever kill anybody? No, I got three top questions. Number one, did you ever kill anybody? Number two, where's all your money buried? And number three, where's Jimmy Hoffa buried? Those are the three top questions all the time. I can name them wherever I go. It doesn't matter. So, after about 2 years, I proved myself worthy, and then we got called in it was Halloween night, 1975, in a secure place in Brooklyn. And we all took an oath.
So then you became a captain.
I became a soldier when I came in 75. In 80, they elevated me to position of captain.
Did your father know Luciano?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Your friends? Huh?
Yeah, my dad, 102 years old. He's the oldest living mob guy in the world.
What year was he born, your father?
He was born in 1917.
Yeah.
1917.
Now, when you start figuring out, because you could basically do anything as an earner.
Yeah.
You can it's just about how you make the money.
We couldn't get involved in drugs.
Okay.
At that time, we were told straight out, if you get involved with drugs, you die. It was hands off. Now, with guys doing it, they were doing it on the side a little bit, but it was crazy because I seen a lot of guys get killed over it.
Yeah.
Were you and John Gotti associates?
I was friends with John. John and I tell you about John.
Why do we like him so much? No, I'm just talking about the psyche of the society.
Yeah, why is he out there so much?
I think, number one, because he made no bones about who he was. I'm a mob guy. I'm going to die a mob guy. I don't want to be anything else. That's it. So he was true to that. And the way he carried himself, he just, he became a media star, and he kept beating the government, and you know what I mean? But socially, he was great. I had good times when we'd meet in clubs all the time. Business, he was very hard to deal with, very hard. But, we got along. We had a few scrapes, he and I, but I like him. I like his family. I still know his family.
Were you locked up at the same time?
Yeah, we were.
Were you locked up in the same place? You see each other, play cards?
We played cards, yeah. We were in MDC together. We were waiting trial. Yeah.
Were you ever locked up with Sammy?
I was, yeah.
In the same place, touching distance? Yeah, what was that like?
I always say this. On John Gotti's worst day, he was a better guy than Sammy.
Yeah.
On his worst day. I mean, I wasn't a fan of his. He had kind of a Napoleon complex, and he was a small guy, and he was just very arrogant. So a lot of people didn't get along with him, I mean, he was a different crew than me, but we still didn't get along. But I'll tell you this, Mike, I don't know how you feel about it, but here's a guy that admitted to 19 murders, and the government makes a deal with him and puts him back out on the street. I mean, this is the United States. You're not supposed to do stuff
when they want you, they want you.
Yeah, but, I mean, come on. 19 murders, you make a deal with a guy like that and put him back on the street. And you know what he was doing? Then he got involved in ecstasy in a club that I was involved with on Sunset Phoenix? Boulevard. No, the Key Club.
LA? Yeah, I know the Key Club.
You remember the Key Club?
Sunset.
I was involved with that, and they were selling ecstasy in the club. He just got out about a year ago, I think.
Oh, Sammy?
Yeah.
He's still here on the street now?
He's out, yeah. Yeah.
Is the idea of, letting a guy like that out, letting him come back to society, is the idea that you're getting something bigger in return? Like, what is the psychology of that system?
They needed Gotti. I mean, they wanted him. He beat them so many times. He was, thumbing his nose in their face, and they wanted him, and they were willing to make a deal with anybody. Really.
Yeah.
You know what happened? I'll tell you what happened in our life. There was a lot of respect. There was also a lot of fear. What happened in our life, when guys on the street started fearing the government more than they were fearing our life, that's when everybody started flipping and turning, and it was unbelievable.
When did that change happen?
Really in the 80s, when they started using that racketeering law. I was in the next cell with Sammy. And I'll never forget, we were in NDC, and we were talking through the through the air conditioning vent, not air conditioning, whatever it was in the floor, because you couldn't talk at a wall there. But we were talking, and for some reason he didn't sound right to me. Just things were not sounding right the way he was talking. And then they came and took him away not too long after that. But I kind of resent this because people say, oh, the younger guys really couldn't stand up like the older guys. But my answer to that, 30, 40 years ago, you got 10 years, you got 15 years. Anybody can do that. You do 7, 8 years, you get out on parole, you go back to your life. Today, they hit you with a RICO charge.
Get to 60 years.
You got 20 years right off the bat, no more parole, meaning you're doing 17 and a half minimum. And if you get 20 on a RICO case, you're lucky. I was facing 150 years.
Wow.
And they would have gave me every bit of it. Because when I was in MDC, I'm watching these guys going to trial, Mike. They're coming back 300 years, 90 years. I said, man, I'm the youngest guy. They're going to give me 5,000 years here. I'll never get out of jail. But, I took my shot anyhow. I mean, I took a plea and I did my time. But fortunately, I beat him a couple of times, so they wanted a conviction on me. But that's why guys didn't stand up. Nobody stands up. It's very hard. You know one guy that stood up? My dad. My dad, they can give him 5 million years. He's never saying a word to anybody. He was that kind of a guy.
Why do you think it's necessary for people need to live that life? They need to make sure that they feel there's something. I'm not doing this code. I don't care. They can kill me. Why do you think they have to have that mentality?
To be part of that life?
Yeah. No, it's that mentality. Like some people that's not even part of life that's like that. Why would somebody want to do something like that?
You mean to be involved in a life or to be an informant?
No. Don't give a fuck. I don't care if they give me 100 years.
There's just...
a lot of people say it, but a lot of people not like that.
No.
Then you meet one rare guy that's like that.
Yeah, and that's my dad. Well, Persico Jr., my former boss. I mean, these guys, they're old-time guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, I'll die in jail. That's it. My dad, the worst thing you could ever call him is a snitch or an informant. You can call him anything, never that. He just can't accept it. It's not part of his mentality.
Why do you think people take the lifestyle? That lifestyle gave them honor, you believe? So that's why they think it's so sincere. Yeah.
Hey, Mike, you know what the best thing to happen to that life on the street? The movie The Godfather.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. I was younger then. It was in the 70s, but Joe Colombo was involved in that movie. I remember.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. He actually edited the script.
Oh, wow.
He took the original script, had the word mafia all over it. He took it out. He made changes in it, and they had no choice. They had to do it. But after that movie came out... Did it change
the family?
After that movie came out, guys started to walk differently. They started to dress differently.
People treated them differently.
They treated them differently, yeah.
Listen, I can remember being black and from Brownsville, being a mafia guy, that's fucking like God. You can get away with anything. The cops fucking was nice. You never got a ticket. The cops brought you presents, brought you tea or coffee. The cops. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nice.
True.
Yeah.
True.
All the celebrities, all the fucking vans, all the big kind of guys respect you. They do business with you.
Yeah.
They don't know your fucking name or anything. But
That's the truth.
They don't. You don't even meet them. You meet their fucking boys. They're business partners. Their lawyers do business with you.
That's the truth.
Imagine living that life. That's all. Everybody, the Irish guys, all those guys, they wanted to be involved. Everybody wanted to be involved with the mob. They had a history of that. You're going to make some money being involved with these Italians. They're going to get you money. You ain't going to go to jail either.
And the reason for that, there's these other groups out there, but if you take the drug business away from them, they all collapse. Yeah. And I'm not knocking, I'm just saying that's the truth.
Yeah.
But with us, we survived and prospered for well over 100 years under some very tough conditions. The reason for that, we infiltrated every fabric of society, from the White House right down to the guy on the street in the numbers business. We control the unions in this country. You control the unions, you control the country. Because you got all that money behind you for political purposes to buy your way into things. You got everybody at your beck and call. You call
Can't
a strike.
get shit built.
Yeah, that's right.
Can't get shit built, man. They building every day, 10 millions of times. You can't get nothing built. The country stops. We stop eating. Ooh, you don't want the country to stop. It's a motherfucker, man.
You call a strike with the Teamsters?
We beyond slavery.
You call a strike with the Teamsters, you got 2.5 million truck drivers stop.
Yeah.
You call a strike at the docks, nothing comes in and out of the country. That's tremendous control.
Yeah, definitely. Take us back into, you became a captain. You're earning a lot of money, a lot of income for the family. What are the businesses then? What are your options? What did you do?
Well, like I said, I had a head for legitimate. Look, I had a gambling operation. I had 12 or 13 bookmakers working for me, And the reason for that, if there's a bookmaker on the street, we're not going to allow him to operate unless he's kicking back to us. So they're all associated. Yeah. So we had a bunch of bookmakers.
That's cool stuff. That's rational thinking, though.
Yeah, because look.
In that word, that's rational thinking.
Yeah.
Why would you be on my corner? This is where I make my money. It's my family live that. Why would you be here selling money and we're not getting a part of it?
You might understand.
That's rational.
That's the way it went.
Yeah.
I had a head. We had the union. I had a lot of union control too. At one time, I had a security guard union with me. We had the security guards in 9 nuclear power plants around the country.
Whoa.
So 9 nuclear power plants were controlled by a mob-controlled union.
Wow.
I don't know if you know the deal, but with a nuclear power plant, after it shuts down, you have to have security there for 100 years.
Whoa.
That's the law. Even after it shuts down, they don't use it anymore because of, it's toxic and all that stuff.
Radioactive.
So, I had some union control, and I had a lot of legitimate business. I had a bunch of car dealerships. I had a leasing company.
What kind of cars you sold?
I had Mercedes, and I had Chevrolet, a Mazda. I had a big leasing company, so we were doing that. And I had a production company out in L.A. We were making movies. And, you got a couple of restaurants, and you got a piece of stuff, because guys are coming to you all the time. They're looking for money, so you give them a few bucks, you take a piece of the business, and that's how it goes. And I was very aggressive, so I had a lot of stuff going on back then.
Did you ever meet the guy, the Iceman?
I never met him.
Your crew, though.
Yeah, he was around us. You know what, Mike? I don't think I met him. I really don't.
But around you,
yeah, and I didn't know at the time. Sometimes you don't talk about a certain guy, but
yeah. Oh man, I mean,
what did your father think about Capone?
My dad's funny. He didn't think real highly of him.
That's weird.
Yeah, he really did. And, Capone came out of New York. You know that. Yeah, he came out of Brooklyn, too.
Yeah, Brooklyn wasn't that tough.
No.
It wasn't that tough in Brooklyn. He had to leave Brooklyn. That's the reason why
That's right.
Chicago, yeah.
That's right.
Oh, interesting.
Mike knows. That's right.
Interesting. How far back? What's the lineage? How old is the mob?
It's the beginning of time.
Ancient, right?
Mafia started in Italy with the French. But imagine... it had to have been back then with Hannibal during that time, too.
Yeah. Like underground.
How do you not have secret societies when you have civilizations, right?
Yeah. Way back. And then, they immigrated here to America, and it started in the early 1900s.
Huh.
1900, I don't know, early on.
American mafia and stuff.
Yeah.
It's American mafia, but it hasn't been going on since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
And how could it not be going on? Probably big business is a mafia now. Corporate America's mafia now. If you don't do this, we sell you out. We'll crush you. We starve you out if you don't take this deal.
Same Machiavellian thought process.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What is the state of it now?
It still exists.
Uh-huh.
It's certainly not going away in my lifetime, but it's not the same.
Huh.
It's really not. The government did I guess you got to say, a good job starting in the 80s. And I give Giuliani the credit or blame.
He put the last dirt in the coffin.
He really started to use the racketeering laws effectively. It was him. So, he
created them pretty much, huh?
Yeah. He and he was Italian too. He just, he gave the story that he visited Joe Bonanno and he got insulted over Bonanno's book that he wrote that time. So he decided to go after the mob. But I believe, that was, he came down from Washington to become the U.S. Attorney in Manhattan, saw high profile.
Uh-huh.
And he picked the biggest high-profile organization. He went after the mob and made headlines, and it was good for his career.
Huh. Now, is a guy like Giuliani in danger of, having a hit put on him or anything like that?
In our life, we really didn't go after law enforcement. In Italy, it's different. Italy, they kill everybody. Family, government, they don't care. But yeah, they don't care. As a matter of fact, they wanted me to do a book signing in Italy, and I said, you guys are out of your mind. You get a body double or something, I ain't going to Italy because they don't care over there. But we never did that. But the one guy, there was 2 guys that were high profile like that there was a hit on. or they were thinking about it. One was Giuliani, and the other, believe it or not, was Geraldo Rivera.
Holy.
Really?
Yes. And I told him this when he interviewed me once. I said, I was on Hannity with him.
Oh my God.
He almost,
I know you shitted him.
Mike, he almost died.
Yeah.
I told him off camera. I said, there was two guys, Geraldo, that we really hated. One was Giuliani and the other was you. And he turned white.
I'm sure. I'm
I said,
sure.
but you're okay now. I said, they're dead, so they ain't going to hurt you. But
Geraldo Rivera tried so hard when he was coming up and he had his shows. He just wanted to be accepted, so he wanted the crowd to love him so bad. He just wanted everybody.
yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He made his name on the empty safe. Remember
Al
Capone's safe? Yeah.
Al Capone.
Yeah.
If anything, you would have wanted to work with law enforcement as much as possible. Yeah.
Well, you know what happened? You know, there's so many guys. Look, we had 5 families in New York, and among all the 5 families, we had about 750 guys that took the oath, actually took the oath. We had a lot of associates. But there were so many of us that we had so many relationships. I had cousins that were cops.
Yeah.
You know, we had neighbors that were cops. So we were able to get around them. They liked us, you know. So we were able to move around pretty good.
Well, you know, it was they did the scientific study and they realized like a cop's psychology and a criminal psychology is pretty much the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're pretty much the same.
Yeah,
Makes
I see
sense.
that. It makes sense.
Yeah.
You got to have a certain mentality to be part of that. I mean, look.
Yeah. Well, that brings me to my next question is, you crossed paths with Donnie Brasco?
Yeah.
What was that like?
What
I
was
talked to him
that
on the
like?
phone before.
Did
What was
you?
that like? Yeah, my friend that was an FBI agent was friends with him. I talked to him on the phone.
Well, I was friends with Lefty, you know, his main guy there.
Ruggiero, right? Ruggiero.
Yeah, Ruggiero. He was, by the way, a
Awesome
great
movie.
Great movie.
Amazing
That was
movie.
amazing.
One of the
Pacino.
best.
I think that Pacino-
The guy Lefty, they made everybody fall in love with Lefty.
That was Pacino's best role.
Yeah,
as
they-
a
He's
Better
so
better
good
than
in
The
that.
Godfather.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah,
So
fucking
good.
Lefty.
So good.
But so I crossed paths with him because they were from Greenpoint too. Once or twice in that life, I always tease him now. I said, man, I'm so glad I didn't do business with you. But I've done a few things with him afterwards, you know. And,
I said to him, and didn't you feel sorry about Lefty, man? That's what I said. Didn't you feel sorry about it, man? He said, yeah.
He did, yeah. Him and Sonny Black. He said he felt bad, but, you know, he had to do what he had to do.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Lefty didn't get killed over that, but Sonny Black did.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, in the movie where it shows him taking off his stuff like he was going to get killed, he died of natural causes. But Sonny Black got killed over Donnie Brasco.
I'm glad Lefty didn't.
Yeah.
Wow. How was that a 1 in a million thing, or did that happen a lot? A guy.
It didn't happen a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, they just didn't do their homework on him, you know. They really didn't. I mean, you got to go back. You know, I don't know if you noticed, Mike, they had a big undercover investigation on me to get Don King. It was
Yeah.
called shadow boxing.
Really?
Yeah. I'll tell you how it happened.
That'd have been so fucking interesting.
No, I tell you, Don, he's pretty smart, though. They send these 2 guys to me, and they tell me they want to get into it. One was an undercover FBI agent. The other was around Muhammad Ali, the guy by the name of Reggie. I forget his last name. They took him out of prison because he knew the boxing game. And they come to me and they say, look, we got money. We want to get into the boxing.
They let him out of
They
prison.
let him out of prison. They said, we want to be in the boxing game, but we want to go at the high level. I said, well, who do you want to meet? They said, Don King. So I romanced these guys for about 6 or 7 months before I would bring them to Don. I get a hold of Al Sharpton, who was running with us at the time, and I said, Al, you got to
They
set
showed
up a
him
meeting.
doing
That's
some stuff too.
interesting.
Remember
Yeah.
they showed him when he had the cowboy hat on,
Remember
sitting
that?
down with the undercover FBI.
Those were the 2 guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were the 2 guys because they posed as drug dealers from South America that cleaned up their act.
Beautiful.
So I tell them, I said, look, I'm not going to bring you to King unless I see the money. So the FBI sets a bank account up, and they show that they got $15 million in the bank. So Sharpton sets up the meeting with Don, and we go to see him. Before I let these 2 guys in the room, I go see Don. I said, Don, listen, I only traced these guys 6 or 7 months. I verified the money, but at this table, don't say anything out of the way. Talk straight, tell them how the business runs, do everything legit, right? And he does. He doesn't say anything wrong. He does everything right. And we walk out of the room, and now I'm getting them. I say, you got to put up the money. And the FBI wouldn't allow them to go that far, and then the whole thing fell apart after that. But But they.
What do they do? Do they just fucking look at some papers and say, let's get in there? What do they do?
They just start these if they think there's something up, they start an investigation, they see where it leads. That's it.
So that wasn't, you never heard of another instance of a guy infiltrating or?
Not to the level that Piston did, no. I mean, he was.
Some people tried to become turncoats and got messed up.
I mean,
Did your father tell you about the Relish guy that fell out the window?
Who?
You remember that time? Kid Relish. Remember the guy that was?
A.B. Relish. Yeah. They threw him out.
Your father told you about those?
Yeah. Murder Incorporated and all that stuff. Oh yeah. No, but with Piston, they wanted him to kill somebody. They were gonna bring him on a hit, and they were gonna make him. They were gonna straighten him out. I mean, he got that far, and obviously they had to stop at that point. But he got that far.
Wow.
They really accepted him. Sonny Black, I heard, loved him.
Wow.
So tell me, do you have some people that are just born enforcers that and get involved with them all? They just want to embrace it?
So there was guys there that...
Roy DeMayo, did you know him?
I knew Roy, yeah.
Was he really that kind of guy?
He was, yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
How violent was it? How prevalent was the violence?
Tell him about Roy DeMayo and stuff.
Roy DeMayo, yeah, he was. His crew was the wild crew. I mean, they chopped up bodies. They put people in cement. I mean, they went the whole distance.
Yeah, they're touching these people, cutting them up. That's crazy. Yeah. Their guts and everything.
And Greg Scarpa was a guy with us. They call him the Grim Reaper. He was another guy that he was tough to be around. He had that kind of. That cloud over him, you know what I mean, Mike? It's kind of like
death aura.
Yeah, yeah. They're actually trying to.
What you say, right? Be careful anybody outside the crew what they say.
Yeah. He was kind of one of those guys. There was some guys that I know that just enjoyed that, and there's other guys that just did what they had to do. I mean, we were all capable. We had to do it.
Right.
So it's.
Were you ever in a room like in a basement? You saw a guy get put to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that must be a trip, right?
Yeah, it's tough.
That's always where it happens, in a building there, you never saw it before, then you see it go down, you be like, wow.
Hey, Mike, I tell you, one of the horrors of that life, you know what happens. You don't know you're in trouble. Your best friend walks you into a room. You don't walk out again. So when I had an incident where some Newsday article came out, paper on Long Island, and they said that I was making billions of dollars. So the boss, Persico at the time, was kind of questioning me. He says, Mike, what's going on? They're saying you're making billions. I said, Junior, I'm giving you $2 million a week. You're not happy? I said, I'm taking all the risk. It's everything here. So one night, I walked into a room. I didn't think I was going to walk out again, I'll be honest with you. It was kind of that death walk for me. And people have said to me, why didn't you cut and run? It was robotic. It wasn't like, I'm a macho guy. It was just, hey, if this is it, this is it. Because where am I going to run, right?
What happened?
Well, I'm here, right? So it was all right. But no, they started questioning me about money and grilling me with my Russian partners because, they had tried to go to my Russian partners to see, and they were pretty loyal to me. So they told them, everything's on the up and up. So they were trying, I was a younger guy, they were trying to scare me a little bit at that point, make sure they knew who they were the boss and so on and so forth. Because I was, I had a pretty big crew at the time.
They were a little jealous too.
A little jealous. I didn't want to say it, but you know how it goes in that life.
I do. A lot of people get killed just because of jealousy.
I mean, a lot of guys went down for the wrong reason.
Imagine you see a guy that started out. You started out before him. He was a fucking guy hanging out in the cold. Next thing you know, he got a fucking club. He got a business. He got all these fucking bitches on him, and nice cars and stuff. And you started before him. You was here before him.
Yeah, because when I started, I had a jet plane. I had my own helicopter. I was driving all the guys around.
It all started from nothing. Now he got that. Enviness is starting to go around.
And the old timers, they kind of resent that a little bit. I was a younger guy, They kind of resent it. So you always had to be careful.
Oh, God, imagine the old man. Who's the guy that used to be with Luciano and all those guys? Carlo Gambino. He must have hated your guys, boy.
Well, I didn't.
He must have hated. Look at your guys were out there. He was always the quiet guy. He must have hated your guys showing up.
He was a guy that the money's under the mattress and I'm just a salesman and nothing. He didn't want to be by. He was that kind of very low key guy.
Milano and those guys.
Yeah,
and Philly and stuff.
Yeah. I knew a lot of the Philly guys.
They were fly guys. We all respected those guys too.
Yeah, Philly. I spent a lot of time there. upstate New York, Russ Buffalo. The movie that's coming out now is all about the one that Scorsese did with Netflix.
Irishman.
Yeah, The Irishman.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be a good
Who's
movie.
the Irishman?
It's going to be a good movie. That's the guy that allegedly, killed Hoffa.
All right.
Huh.
So he wrote a book, and they're doing a movie. Everybody's in it now. It's going to be a good movie, no doubt.
Oh, Scorsese always comes through.
Yeah.
Oh, Goodfellas.
Goodfellas, great movie.
Casino. Who would you guys kill, and why would they be killed?
Well, you're told straight out, obviously you turn snitch, you're dead.
Uh-huh.
You get involved with drugs, you're dead. You dishonor another man's wife or daughter.
How do you, if somebody say a lie to you, how do you get out of a lie? How do you prove this guy's lying?
A lot of times you got to lie to prove that you're innocent.
Huh.
You can't say prove it. How can you?
Well, here's the thing. When you sit down with another made guy, we have a sit down or we have a dispute, right? You're a made guy, I'm a made guy. If I call you a liar, I lose the argument. At the table, you always had to be respectful. You couldn't call somebody else a liar. You had to try to outsmart them to win your point. Because if you break the rules at the sit down, you lose automatically. So you had to learn how to be very cagey and very technical, not to fall into a trap, not to let somebody get you so upset that you use your name.
Are you telling me, what's this guy's name, the Anastasia guy? What's his name? Albert. You telling me Albert Anastasia talked down and had a decent conversation with a person?
Can't do it at the table. I'm telling you.
Oh,
now maybe if you're the boss, you do what you want, but you're not supposed to.
Really?
Yeah, you can't.
It's
I
all
can't imagine
honor.
this guy not yelling at somebody.
I know.
From everything. Wow.
And if you yell, you're going to yell in private.
Yeah.
There was a lot of times when another made guy, I called him every name under the sun. But if we were with people, never. But it was just me and him in a room, because then I call him a lie, he calls me a lie, we each deny it, there's no problem. But you can't do it in front of another guy.
It's all honor and
that's
respect.
been that way since the beginning?
Yeah, oh yeah. Even more so among the old timers than now.
Yeah. Oh, wow. It's such an interesting world, man. And
did they like Luciano? Did your father like Luciano?
Yeah, my dad liked him, yeah. Liked Lucky, liked...
How did he feel about the Jews and stuff in the game?
He knew Lansky, liked him. Yeah, he told me about him. He thought he was a very quiet guy, Lansky.
Did he know
very
Seagull?
reserved. Yeah. My dad, he's so old, he knew everybody.
what was it that got you into prison?
I ended up, they took me to trial 4 times. Giuliani tried me on a big case. I beat all 4 cases.
Wow.
And after they were coming after me on the gas business, and my partner was turning informant. He got locked up on another case. They pulled him out. We had a compound in Panama, and we were actually paying Noriega for stuff.
Wow.
And so when he went on trial for some other deal that he had, and halfway through the trial, he says to me, "I'm not going to jail." He says, "We got a compound. I'll run everything from there." So he leaves. He goes to Panama, because at that time there was no extradition between Panama and the United States. But you know what the feds did? They went in there in the middle of the night and they kidnapped him and brought him back to Florida.
Wow.
Put him on a plane, broke the door down in his house, pulled him out, put him on a plane, brought him to Florida. As soon as he got there, he started flipping on me. So I knew I'd have a problem with the gas case. So after I beat Giuliani's case, I had leverage with the government because they wanted a conviction. So I made a deal. I got a 10-year sentence. I had a $20 million restitution. I had to give up the plane, the helicopter, and I went and did my time. But
what year was that?
That was in, I took the plea in 85. And I did 8 years on the 10, which was maximum. But I just knew that the life was in trouble. I said, forget it. I get convicted here on something, they're going to give me 100 years. I'm dead. So I had a shot to do it, and I said, let me take my chance. I'd rather do a couple of years in jail and come out and at least have a life. And I was still a young guy, at that point. So.
Do you remember the hit? What was the hit that when he took over, when Gotti took over, and Tom?
Paulie Castellano?
Yeah,
Sparks, yeah.
You knew what happened when that happened.
Yeah,
we all down when that happened.
We all knew it, yeah. We all knew it. Yeah, when things like that, the word circulates quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do families have fights, like say the Gambino family and the Lucchese, do they ever have wars with each other? No.
That stuff ended back in the 30s and the 40s.
Yeah.
Whenever
No more
there's a
fighting
war,
with each other, right?
no, it's always a civil war. It's always within the family.
Huh.
You know, power usually, who's going to be the boss. And
Never
we-
against another family.
No,
anymore.
never with another family, at least not in the last 50, 60 years. But we were a pretty rough family in that regard. We were always killing each other, always.
Huh.
Did
Over.
something happen like this? Say I'm a Lucchese, you're a Gambino, right? And we're in family, we're cousins. We're cousins. And you have a problem with a guy. And so, and I'm mad because you're mad at somebody. So can your cousin kill him?
Yeah.
That happened before?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I figure that, yeah. I'm sure that would happen. My family, this guy pissed me off. He did something, he killed my friend or a family member.
Yeah.
Yeah, we always helped each
Yeah.
other out, stuff like that, you know.
What? So the stuff between family members, that was all. Somebody lied to somebody, or dishonored.
Business dispute, you know, you're
business
in
problems.
my territory, this belongs to me, and you shouldn't be involved. You know, the deal I had
Oh.
with Gotti, we got involved in a flea market, believe it or not, which was big business in New York. I don't know if you remember in Brooklyn. Big business, right? So I had a guy in there, he was an accountant, and he had two partners. One of the partners was, he was a drug addict. He was selling drugs in the flea market. So a guy comes to me, he says, Mike, if you get rid of this guy for me, I'll give you a piece of the market. I said, okay. So we chased the guy out of the market. About a week later, I get a call from John. He's, Michael, you know, that kid is with me. I said, John, how's he with you? He never mentioned your name. He's dealing drugs. You're not supposed to be doing that. We threw him out. No, he's with me. I know him a long time. He only made a mistake with the drugs. He's not really a drug addict. I said, okay. I just look at his arm, you know, but anyway. So we have this whole big dispute over it. You know, we had to sit down with the boss and everything. So what I said, look, I can never get along with John in business. I said, so I'm going to ask him to buy me out, knowing that John would never take that. You know, I don't buy you, you don't buy me out, I buy you out. So at the end of the day,
Did he have a big ego?
oh yeah,
Really?
yeah, he really did, Mike. I got to say it. I mean, look, I admired the guy. I'm not talking negative about him, but he had a big ego. Yeah,
Tell me what he used to say. Did he say me? That
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
shit?
he was,
That's awesome.
yeah, he was, but he was fun to be around, you know. I mean, he was good that way. But so he ended up buying me out of the market, and he took it over, and they collapsed about 3 months later. But they probably took everything in the market and brought it home, you know, who knows.
But it got a little sketchy for a minute.
Yeah, yeah. But again, it was never like.
Did you ever meet Carlo Gambino?
I met him when I was a kid,
Yeah.
because Carlo died in '75.
76.
But I met him with my dad. Yeah, '76, somewhere around there. But yeah,
Well, from
Very
the
quiet.
outside in, it can feel like every moment is a life and death moment.
Yeah,
in the
man, you
mob.
never know.
Is it that way?
Life
Does it
is
feel
in the
that way
balance.
when you're in it, or are you just accustomed to the stakes, so you don't think about it that way?
well, you do at times. You know, you look. You always have to be a little bit on edge. I don't know if that's the right word. You got to be on your guard always, because you know if you make a mistake, especially if guys are gunning for you. Like I said, I'm a younger guy. I'm making all of this money. You know, like my boss kept wanting me to introduce my guy Larry to him, the guy I was partners with, and I would refuse. I said, look, I don't know if this guy's going to stand up. If I bring him around everybody and he goes bad, I'm going to be in trouble for it. So I said, I'll keep him with me. And that was a good excuse, so they could never meet him, because I know why they want to meet him.
They want to search.
Yeah, at some point in time, they
They'll
take
pat
him
him
from
down,
me.
yeah.
You know, they take him away from me. But so you always got to be watching yourself. You know, you can't make a mistake because you pay with your life. So you got to be very careful. And you know, I'm that way even till to now. I mean, I'm walking down the street.
Nervous. One of them. Can I talk to you for a minute, please?
Yeah, you know, you
That must have been a trip.
You don't want anybody
Can I
talking
talk
to
to you for a
you.
minute, please, Mike? Yeah, that's some crazy shit.
Yeah.
Never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Look, I had a good guy around me that I knew all my life, and he was involved he got involved in a case with the boss's son. It was a drug case. And so he came to me, and he said, Mike, they're going to kill me over this. I said, they ain't going to kill you. They're not going to. He said, no, you're going to make me take the weight because the boss's son is not going to go down for this. I said, Tony, don't worry about it. I'm going to straighten it out. Before I could straighten it out, he ended up killing himself. That's how scared he was. That he was going to get killed. He blew his brains out in a phone booth.
Wow.
I was like stunned. So I mean, you know, you got to be on your guard. You can't let your guard down. You can't make mistakes that could be very costly. I'll tell you something that'll shock you. It should. In 1986, they wrote an article in Fortune magazine, the 50 biggest and most powerful mob bosses in the country. It was huge. I was half the magazine, and they featured 6 of us. I was one of the 6. They had a chart with the 50 of us on there according to rank and wealth and power and all that. Now, I was number 18. I was the youngest guy on the list. Gotti at that time was number 13. He hadn't been made boss yet. And don't ask me how they make a list like that. I mean, they didn't ask for our tax returns, right? It was stupid. It was all nonsense, but it sold a lot of magazines. But here's what not nonsense. Out of that list of 50, 33 years later, 48 of them are dead.
Wow.
One of them right now is doing life in prison, and I'm the only one that's walking the streets.
Whoa.
So that's the kind of life that is.
Right.
48 guys dead in 33 years. That's a lot.
Wow.
But then again, I'm from Brooklyn, I go like this. I look at it like this. I wasn't going nowhere anyway. Where was I going? You know?
Yeah.
Where was I going anywhere? I was going to die rotting on the neighborhood, sitting on a fucking bench, doing nothing. I'd die in my sleep one day. I'd die just walking down the stairs. You know, what was I doing? I had a chance to fuck girls I would have never fucked before in my life. Live in houses I would have never lived in my house, drive cars I never would have drove in my house, be respected by people who would never respect me if I wasn't in this business. That's the truth. That's worth my life. I give me, Mike Tyson, that's worth my life.
That's the truth. You know, I always say, if you're a part of that life and you die of old age and you die free, you've really accomplished something.
Yeah.
It's a tough life.
Yeah.
And Mike, you know, I mean, you're a survivor. Come on.
No doubt about that.
You get through all of that stuff.
I don't knock those guys. Because I know what they're facing if they don't get involved with this. Listen, I don't like to say stuff and stuff, but from my perspective, this is always going to be better than this.
Yeah.
Something's going to be always better than nothing. How the hell are you going to stop? This is nothing. No respect. People disrespect your mother in front of you, your wife, your sister in front of you. This is nothing. No one that carry your parents' bags. They walk them upstairs. They help them. Which life do you want?
Yeah, he's right. Look, you come into that life, they tell you, listen, wherever you go around the world, you're going to have somebody to back you up. Nobody's going to have a screw with your mother, your sister, your brother. You got brothers all over the world.
How do you compete with that? Oh, you're a big, strong guy? They could check that real easy. They don't need a bully. It's a bat.
Yeah.
You know?
Makes sense. Makes sense to me.
I do a lot now with professional sports.
Yeah. I wanted to get to that.
You interviewed Nick Saban, didn't you?
Yeah, we get down.
Yeah.
I'm going to be there Friday.
Oh,
I'm
my
speaking
God.
to the team.
That's
I'm
awesome.
speaking to the team.
That's
I'll tell you
awesome.
what I do. I talked to them about gambling. They were very worried about gambling.
Yeah.
Very
I remember. I played football. I remember those talks all the time.
Who'd you play for?
I played for Arizona Wildcats for college, and then I played for the Jaguars and the Bears.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't think
I don't think you came and spoke to us, but we definitely had the gambling talk. So I was curious. That's what you talk about with them?
Yeah, gambling and relationships, who they hang out with, and just give them life lessons, you know, because a lot of these guys think they're invincible.
Yeah.
So here's what I do. I tell because I did over 300 colleges, right? I go all the university football team, but a lot of times all the student athletes. But I said, look, I want the biggest guys in the front row, biggest guys, all the linemen, all the biggest guys.
Yeah.
And then I'll get through and I'll go to one guy. I said, hey, you, big guy, right? 6'9", like you.
Yeah.
Big.
Yeah.
I said, stand up. And they look at me. I said, stand up. What are you afraid? 3 times my size. Stand up, right? So they get up. And I said, man, I wouldn't mess with you on the field. I said, you'd tear me up. I said, forget about it. I said, but I want to tell you this. And I'll put a little line down there. I said, you cross over that line, you come into my world. I said, then I'm going to make a sissy out of you.
Yeah. Well, fuck that.
And I got to tell you, Mike, they look around and it's silence in the room. I said, now sit down. And they sit down. And, you know, because, look, you got to make an impression with them because gambling, it fucks you up, man. I got to tell you, I've seen some of these guys get destroyed over it. You know it. And Mike, you know it too.
Listen, I was in the house. I was training for a fight one day, so they didn't want me to be on the strip. They didn't want me in the hotel, so they put me in this big mansion, right? And I said to myself, wow, I like this house. I like to buy this house. And I was saying, how much is this house? He said, well, we don't know right now because we just got it from somebody that had the debt to the hotel. You know what I mean? So he just lost his house. He just lost his house. So so we have to
They
talk
took
to the
his
hotel.
house.
Yeah, you have to talk to the hotel now. The hotel owned the house now, so we
Right.
can't talk to the guy no more. We had to talk to the hotel to buy the house.
Did you buy the house?
They wouldn't want to sell it
No?
to me. No, they didn't sell it to me.
Luckily, gambling was never something I was that interested in.
No, it wasn't
Never.
attractive
I was.
to me.
It was not attractive to me. at
I used to
all.
see my friends, you know, they're little guys, little entertainers, right? They're losing so much. They're so meek. I try to get them to stop. They want to fight me. They never had a
Yeah.
mean bone in their body.
Yeah. Huh?
Yeah, and it's just so vicious.
it's-
It's just it's incredible.
Well, you know, we had guys from I'd be honest, from the Jets and a lot of the local teams gambling with
I'm
us.
sure.
And
I'm
I get a
sure.
bookmaker call me up. This is back in the '80s now. And he said, "Mike, so and so player, he's into us for $200,000. Should I cut him off?" I said, "Why would you cut him off? You're writing it down on a piece of paper." I said, "Let him get into you for $500,000, and then bring him to me." And for sure they would. So they come in. I said, sit down. I said, you owe me some money. How are you going to pay? Well, it's not like today where they're making millions. Back then it was a little different.
Yeah.
And they'll say, well, I said, I'll tell you what. I'm a big fan of you. I love the team. You don't have to pay me now. You're going to pay me 5 points a week on the money. Every Friday you bring it here in cash. And if you don't come here, we'll send somebody to see you. Don't worry about it. And go out and have a blast. Well, they'll do that for 5 or 6 weeks, and you know what's happening. They're running to another town. They're betting with another bookmaker. They're getting more in debt. Bring them back. Say, hey, what happened? You missed last week. You didn't pay. Let me tell you how we're going to work this out. You're a quarterback. First 3 times you get the ball, you put it in the hand of the other receiver. That's it. You're a running back.
Yeah.
You put it on the ground.
Right.
That's it. We'll worry about the rest.
Yeah.
You do that for me, I'll clear the debt. That's it.
Wow.
And what are they going to do?
Yeah,
Think about it, Mike.
But
What are
that's
they
so
going to
easy.
do?
Yeah.
That's all you want me to do?
That's it.
That's
Yeah.
all you want me to do?
Yeah.
For one
Yeah.
game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Throw a few picks.
Yeah.
Have a fumble or
They don't
two.
care. They don't,
Yeah.
And we'll
listen,
take care of the
please.
rest.
They don't care.
Because really, what did they lose? The entry on a piece of paper. It's
Yeah.
not like you gave them anything, But and a lot of I got to tell you about athletes. They're not good gamblers.
No.
They're really not. I can't tell you how many of them got in trouble.
We're pleasure seekers.
Yeah. Big time.
We're pleasure seekers. When
Adrenaline.
pleasure's
Give
over,
me the rush.
When the
Exactly.
pleasure's over, we're
Yeah.
in a hole. Next thing you know, we're in a hole digging.
Give me the rush.
Well, because you're so competitive. And what does a gambling do?
Yeah.
It heightens the stakes.
Oh my God.
It raises the
No doubt
stakes.
about it.
Yeah.
I
I had buddies gambling in hotel rooms on the plane, to and from games. All the guys were, guys love that.
Hey, I seen once, this is funny, because, I love Jordan. To me, he's still my all-time favorite basketball player. But we were at a security meeting once with the NBA, and Michael's playing the head of security for table tennis. They're playing for $5, right? Of course, Michael wins. He wins everything. So Horace has got his warm-up suit on, and Michael says, "Where's my $5?" I said, "Well, I don't have any money. It's up in my room." He looks and he said, "Go up and get it." He goes up. He comes down. He hands Michael the $5. I witnessed it all. And Horace looks and he says, "Michael, $5?" He says, "Yeah, this is my trophy. I beat you." Puts it in his pocket and walks away. I said, "Wow, this is intense."
Yeah. Yeah.
But I get it. I really get it.
Yeah, man.
I'll be honest with you. I'm not a gambler. I didn't have but I enjoy a game when I got money on it. Just, I get more into it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I got to be honest.
Yeah. I know guys who love it. Guys just really get off. I mean, look at the businesses now that are being legitimized with like DraftKings and all the
Absolutely.
fantasy football. It's crazy.
Hey, listen, I'll never forget when off-track betting came into New York, right? The cops came to us, said, "We're going to put you guys out of business." I said, "Really? Let's see what happens." Because what happens? Off-track betting, you got to go and you got to put your money down at the window. They don't give you any credit. What happens after you lose that money? You come back to the bookmaker and because we give you credit and you gamble. It actually made us more busy because now more guys were gambling than they were before.
Wow.
And you always lose. You're going to lose at some point.
Yeah.
And something else, this is even to today, you can't, for some reason, I don't know if it's human nature, and you can tell me, people like doing business with the mob.
Oh, yeah.
It's exciting.
No, I don't know why. Because maybe it's been so long, they've been accustomed. People are uncomfortable with the government. Right now, we're really uncomfortable for the last what? Since the 80s,
70s.
Yeah, we've been uncomfortable.
60s.
Yeah, we've been uncomfortable with the government.
You know why? I'll tell you why. Everybody thinks that we would sit in our social clubs and we would target a certain business. Didn't happen like that. They would come to us. Why? Hey, we need money. we're never going to snitch on you. We can help you. We'll protect you. They would come to us. This whole gas thing, the guy came to me. I didn't go to them.
Right.
It happened like that all the time. They come to you, hey, I figure this guy's going to protect me. He'll give me money.
You can't tell the government, I'll pay you next week, I promise.
Yeah.
Promise, don't hurt me, I'll pay you next week. You can't tell him that. He doesn't hear that. He doesn't see that. He doesn't hear anything.
Uncle Sam?
Yeah, he doesn't. He takes you and kicks you out and takes everything.
Exactly.
Did you ever have to fuck people up for their gambling debts or for their debts in general that wasn't a mob person?
You know what? Most of the time, you didn't have to do that because just they're scared enough that they're going to come around.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, you had to make an example out of somebody because they were just too wild. You know, too wild. You know, the thing is, they'd lose money with you, go to another bookmaker here, go to another. Like, we didn't know. We're all connected to them. Right, we all knew what was going on,
So
right?
sick, they don't know.
Yeah. They don't know.
They're sick.
Yeah.
But, you know, every once in a while, a guy got out of hand and you had to make an example. You know, it's just the way it is.
Oh, that's
You know, but now that we don't have, but what happened now? We have neighborhoods that no one knows anyone. I bet you go, they don't even have Little Italy no more. They told me Little Italy don't. It's like
it's not even the same.
Like a half a block, like a 2 buildings of Little Italy now.
Yeah.
They told me it's not. It's almost just consumed.
Hey, Gotti's Club on Mulberry, I think it was Mulberry or Mott, one or the other. I went by there. It's like a clothing store, you know, the Ravenites. So I went into there. I said, you know whose club this was? I said, yeah. I said, well, why don't you have a sign up there? John Gotti's former club. I said, you have people standing outside that want to come in and buy. Well, I don't want to be associated with that. I said, why not? It's business, right?
Yeah, big business.
You don't even know it's the Ravenite when you walk by it. I'm saying, man, this was John's club. Nothing.
wow.
Crazy.
Do you ever see or have you talked to Giuliani?
I met him one time.
One time?
It was at a I forget it was a football organization actually that it's out of they have every year they give an award to top coaches, and I had spoke there a couple of times and he was the keynote speaker that time.
Oh
and
my
we,
God.
Yeah, he was okay. I always tease him. I said, I'm the only guy to beat you.
I
I
love
was
that.
acquitted. You tried, yeah.
I know he's so into himself. He's so insane. He's
a maniac, dude.
Yeah, he's crazy.
Look at him with Trump now, spinning it.
You know, too, they asked me, I got a little bit involved in this whole investigation because I knew some of the people around Trump. And they asked me if did Trump ever deal with the mob? I says, are you guys like, are you in Never Neverland? I said, he was a developer in New York. He had to deal with us, like every other developer, because we controlled the unions. If you wanted to get anything done, you had to come to us. Now, we didn't party with him. He didn't come to our social club. Not that I know of. He didn't do it with me. But of course he had to deal with us. You don't get anything done back then unless you dealt with us.
What about Scarfo and those guys? Were you friends with those guys?
Scarfo, I knew.
What kind of
really,
guy do you
I like Nicky. I like Nicky.
Yeah?
Yes. Yes.
He got such a bad reputation.
Yeah, he was a good guy. I liked him.
Yeah?
What was his reputation?
Bad
Yeah,
stuff.
bad murderer.
Bad
You know.
stuff. The worst ever. The worst.
Yes.
It's the worst stuff.
I
But a
liked
good
him.
guy.
He was always a gentleman around me. Yeah, we were going to unionize the bartenders and waitresses in Atlantic City.
You can't
We
even
were doing it
imagine him doing
together.
the things they said. He's only this big.
Yeah, he was
You
a
know
tough
what
guy. Yeah, he was a tough guy. He was a man as far as I was concerned. Anyway.
Well, the guy that always terrifies me the most from any mob movie is Joe Pesci in Goodfellas.
Did you know that
Are
guy?
those guys like
Tommy,
that?
did you know
Yes,
Tommy?
I did. Joe Pesci is the best mob guy of all time. There's no doubt about it. Nobody plays it like him.
Yeah.
He's the best.
So there are guys like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You shoot a guy in the foot
Yeah.
at a fucking card game.
Yeah.
Wow. Jesus, dude.
Yeah. And let me tell you something. You know,
Who was the guy Joe used to hang out with, the guy that got him on the scene? He died. I remember he used to always be around Joe in Columbus. He was a mob guy.
which guy now?
The guy that really brought Joe Pesci around into show business and stuff.
Or Jimmy Burke?
No, the real guy, the real life.
Well, Jimmy Burke and Joe were very
No,
close.
Joe Pesci.
Oh, in real life. Oh, yeah. You mean the guy that Frankie Valli?
No, the guy who was the head of the crew back then.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
That was awful. It was this guy Smiley.
A real mob guy?
Oh, I don't know.
He brought Joe around?
But Joe knew him.
I don't know.
He was just an awesome guy. He was an awesome guy. I remember Joe
Did you
when I
ever-
was young, in my teens and stuff. I met him. They had all those tough guys around them.
Did you ever meet Mike?
No, we never met.
No?
When I was a kid, I met Tony Solano.
Yeah. Did you meet Fat
Yeah,
Tony?
he came upstate in Catskill to see Cuss.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was
was a
Cuss
good guy.
tied in?
No, because these guys grew up in the same neighborhood. You know?
I'll tell you a story with Tony. He gives me a call. He liked me. He gives me calls me up one day. He says, "Come and see me." So boss of another family calls you, you go. So I go to Harlem. I go in his club, and you know what Tony looked like? Short guy, kind of stocky, wear the fedora and smoked a cigar right out of Central Casting. So he looks at me and he says, "Hey, Mike, what are you doing with this gas business?" I said, Tony, I'm doing good." He said, "You making money?" I said, "Yeah, Tony, no complaints. I'm making good." He said, "I got these 5 mamalukes around me. They can't earn 3 cents." He says, "Yeah, just like that." He says, "You give them a job?" I said, "Yeah, Tony, I'll take care of it. Don't worry." He said, "What will you do?" I said, "Well, I got a bunch of gas stations. How about I put them in charge of a gas station and they'll watch it for me?" I said, "But Tony, don't let them rob me. You know these guys, they rob you. I'll cut off their hands, their ears." I said,
Oh, fuck.
I said, "You don't have to do that." I says, "But he said, don't worry
You think
about
you
it."
would really do it?
Yeah.
Oh,
he said, so he said, "Don't worry about that." I said, "Oh." He says, "How much you going to pay him?" So now I'm thinking, I don't want to insult the boss, right? I says, "Tony," I said, "how about I give him $1,500 a week in cash each?" He says, $1,500? Give them $500. Give me the $1,000. I said, "You got it, Tony."
Oh God.
He was a character though. I liked him though. He was a funny guy, but he was a powerful guy. Him and the chin.
I'm sure they were all characters.
But listen, I think about this. How do they? And this is probably how they do because they used to it from us years and generations. How do you really? Because they're almost like kings, almost like gods in human form.
Yeah.
How do they handle that?
Some guys handled it well.
Some guys like Diamond Jim Esposito. I read about him. He used to make sure he fuck every virgin before they get married.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a mob guy.
I don't know. Listen.
Every girl in the facility before they get married, he had to fuck them. He got killed eventually, but that was his thing.
Did he get killed for that?
I don't know, but it could be probably.
Hey, you want to? There was a guy in our family. He was a soldier that I was close with. There was 2 brothers. They had to kill their father. They killed their own father because he was screwing around with another guy's daughter or something. So one day we're in Brooklyn. I'm driving him home, and he gets out of the car and he said, "Don't leave yet." I said, "All right." So I'm waiting. He goes up to the front door. He's ringing the bell. Nobody answers. Right? He comes back. He gets in the car. He says, "Let's go." I says, "You're not going in?" He says, "No." I said, "You don't have a key to your own house?" He says, "No, I got a key." I said, "Why don't you go in?" He said, "Because nobody's home." I said, "It's your house." He's Michael. He says, "Ever since that incident with my dad, I can't walk in any place in my house alone. I think his ghost is there. It scares the hell out of me." He said, "I haven't been alone in my house for 30 years.
Wow.
That's how it got to him like that.
I always thought like maybe like people I've been around like they killed people. It's like they never think it. If I ever bring it up, they say, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah.
Nigga, you crazy? What the fuck are you talking about, Mike? Act like it never happened. Nigga, what about that? What nigga, Mike? Like you bugging out, nigga. Mm-hmm. Whoa. They don't nothing right. They're happy. They don't give a fuck. It never happened. They're cool. You need anything? Everything okay? Need money? All right, Mike? Cool. Nothing.
And for the most part, that's how guys were.
Yeah, I know. They're cool.
That's it.
You can't think about it. You can't get attached to it.
It's gone.
They don't talk about it. They don't brag about it. It's over.
So my father
talk about it.
That's true. My father told me from a young age, if you and I did something, the minute it's done, 30 seconds later you ask me about it, I don't know what you're talking about.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
It was like, what the fuck are you talking about, Mike?
Yeah.
They always think somebody's going to bring something out. Hey, didn't you say this or that?
Right. Because it's your mouth that gets you in trouble. Let's face it.
Exactly.
Let's face it.
So when you go and talk to teams about relationships, what do you talk to them about?
Listen, I always tell them straight out, you are who you hang out with in this world. That's it. You put yourself in the wrong crowd, the wrong element, you're going to end up going that, no matter how strong you are, you're going to end up going that way at some point. Or you're going to be thought to be going that way because of who you're hanging out with. So you got to be a leader and not a follower. Just stay away from all this. And I always tell them, too, look, 6 nights, for 20 years of my life, 6 nights a week, I was in a club. Always. That's where we hung out. I never seen good stuff happen after midnight in the club.
Yeah, I remember that line.
Exactly.
That's what I remember that line. And that's true.
There's
nothing
out at midnight but crooks and hooks, man.
Yeah.
Crooks and hooks.
Crooks and hooks.
That's it. And they'll ask me questions. I'll tell them, I said, let me ask you a question. You're standing at a bar, you're talking to a girl, with a good time. Some guy walks over, and he starts to intrude on you, right? Now, you're a tough guy. You're not going to take it. What do? You give the guy a shot. You knock him out. He's on the ground. What do you do after that?
Right.
I said, what do you do? Well, I don't know. I said, let me tell you what you do. You leave the club. Get out. Why? Because I can't tell you how many times I've seen that happen. Guy leaves, comes back with a gun, comes back and shoots.
That's absolutely, that's going to happen. You know what I mean? Unless he's just knocked out all day on the floor.
Yeah. That happened to a guy in Jacksonville, right before I'd gotten there. This guy, Richard Collier, he was a starting right tackle.
Big guy, huh?
Big, huge guy. 6'8", 340. Was at a club Thursday night, out with some teammates, talking to some girls. Some dude had a what you would think is nothing, an altercation, words exchanged with some dude. Later that night, they're sitting in their car outside this girl's house. Dude rolls up, shoots into the car. Drive-by shooting. The dude paralyzed.
Yeah, I mean, I tell them, win, lose, or draw, get out, gone. You don't stay there.
Just people are so sensitive, and they feel their masculinity is being stripped. You just humiliated.
Yeah.
That's really the reason why Tupac got killed. It's not the fact, because they really didn't fuck the guy up because there were too many people. They really couldn't fuck up the kid, baby, and they really didn't fuck him up. But he was humiliated that he was on television, that everybody was fucking on top of him. And that humiliated him, and that's really why he did it. He even liked Tupac, but everybody saw him getting his ass kicked. It appeared that he wasn't, but it appeared like he was getting his ass kicked. And he was getting stomped out, and that's the reason.
They couldn't handle it.
Is that just a primal thing?
Shame. Humiliation, we work on that so much. That even exalts us to success, our shame.
Like you talk about, Mike, we can't, as fighters, as people, I think we feel this need to earn honor or to gain honor.
And we get it from anything.
And the whole time, what we don't realize that we're born honorable.
Yeah. Exactly.
But you're
from Brooklyn. If you're not a fucking thief, by the time you're not pickpocket, snacking, chain, robbing houses, you ain't shit. You don't have no respect. Fuck your mother, smack you, beat your ass in front of your parents. Your parents do some shit, nigga, where slice them, shoot them. You gotta have respect. You gotta be out here getting money if you want some respect. You ain't get no respect if you're not a criminal. We're breaking your house.
He's right. Back then, it's the truth. I mean, those were the guys that got all the respect.
Right.
That was it. And, you looked up to guys like that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Nobody bothered your parent, your family and stuff. People knew you were a little hustle out there in the street, get money.
In our neighborhood in Greenpoint, we never locked the doors at night. There was no crime. If there was any crime in the neighborhood, it was us.
Yeah, who did it?
Yeah. We never had any issues like that. I tell these guys, too, I said, if you're going to carry a gun, you make sure you know how to use it and be ready to use it. It's not a showpiece.
Yeah.
You're going to carry, otherwise it'll put you in more trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, you see it with the football guys a lot, man.
I'll tell you, whenever I leave a team, I'll tell them, listen, you got a gambling problem, you got an issue, email me. I said, I don't need to know your name. I don't work for the school. I'm not part of enforcement. I said, email me. If I could help you out, I will. Evan, it's not failed yet. I did over 300 schools. By the time I get back to my hotel, I've got emails.
Wow.
Every single time.
Yeah.
A lot of times, my friend is having a problem. You know what that means, right?
Yeah.
Or something.
I'm asking for a friend.
Yeah, and it's all different issues.
So what do you think about the guys that don't succeed, the guys that OD, or the guys that get killed by cops, or the guys that get killed in warfare? What were they in our life for? Why can't they be in our life to touch us, to make us realize this is not where I want to go? I think everybody's here for a purpose. I don't think nobody's here for osmosis.
Yeah.
What was the purpose why somebody's here? The purpose why we're all here together.
No, I agree with that.
You know?
Yeah.
A lot of things are not by chance, no doubt.
Yeah.
But, listen,
How much time did you do?
I did 8 years.
That's the straight 8?
No, I did 5. I got out on parole. I was out 13 months. I violated. And they put me back in for another 35 months. So, and
Wow.
I did 29 months and 7 days in the hole.
Oh.
What was that like?
I'll be
Yeah,
honest
what
with you,
was
Mike.
that like?
That's not easy. No, anybody tells you different.
That's the objective, to really break you, make you
break.
insane.
We weren't meant to be solo. We were meant to be social.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
And a lot of guys. I mean, look.
that's how they build prisons. That's how they realize psychiatrists said that's we're group people.
Yeah.
And the worst thing you can do
Social
is separate
animals.
us.
Yeah, the only time a guy should be in isolation if he's a danger to everybody else or a danger to himself. But especially these youngsters that they put in, it's terrible what they do because they drive you.
You're never the
Look,
same.
when those lights went out at night, I heard a lot of moaning and
Screaming.
groaning.
You're
and
screaming. They're screaming.
me, I'll be honest with you, what got me through it,
Yeah.
I turned to, that's where I became a person of faith. I had a Bible, I had books sent in to me, and my faith and my drive to get home to my family is what, kept me sane. Because I lost about 22 pounds. I got sick 4 times from chicken, ptomaine poison from chicken.
Ugh.
So I said, look, don't bring me anything else. Bring me cereal, bananas, and that cup of soup. For 2 years, that's all I ate.
That's
I
why I
wouldn't
eat cup of soup.
Cup of
too.
soup, right?
I love cup of soup.
I still eat them. Without that, forget it. But I couldn't eat anything. But you come out of there.
It's almost
you could
so
get
natural,
books.
It's so good.
Huh?
You could get books. You could have
Get
books.
books.
In there.
You get newspapers maybe 5 days later. So you keep. I had a Sony Walkman back
They
then.
didn't want you. They wanted to keep you. They didn't want you to know what's happening
Yeah.
outside. They keep you in 5 years. A couple of days later, so you just don't know what's going on.
You had a Sony Walkman, and the only thing I cared about, I used to tell where I was, they put the phone in your cell so that you could talk, but they're only supposed to give you maybe 15 minutes a day. So I used to get the guard, and he used to put it in my cell at midnight so I could make calls, and he said, Mike, don't worry about it, leave it. But, shower sometimes, you got 2 showers a week. They pull you out of the hole, they put you in a shower, they lock it.
Sometimes they bring the shower to your cell. Click.
Yeah, in some places they do that. But I'll tell you, there's times they lock me in the shower, and then they got some disturbance, and they leave you in there for 3 or 4 hours. You're in the shower.
Left in there.
Fuck.
Yeah, it was tough, honestly. It's a tough bid to get through that. But, you do it. Got to do it. You don't have a choice.
Have you guys seen Papillon?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Steve
Devil
McQueen.
Island. On Devil Island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
Great
watched
movie.
that recently.
Now that's just so
for
much
a second
dedication
time.
and commitment.
Yeah.
You
Well, when he gets thrown into isolation, it's fucking.
Strong mind, man. to get
You
through
have
that.
to.
You have to.
I mean, it seems like you would
Dustin
go
Hoffman
crazy.
had a good part too. His role was.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah, he was
The
great.
movie's
He was great.
it's genius.
It was great. Did you guys ever see the HBO movie Gotti?
Yeah.
You saw that, right?
I haven't seen
Who played Gotti? What was his name again?
Armando Santos.
Yes.
it. Oh yeah.
Evan, watch that movie.
I will.
That was on the level of The Godfather.
Really?
It was a
Okay.
great movie. Yeah.
Was that up in
Anthony
about
Quinn.
Gotti?
Yeah, I was pretty accurate.
Who did Anthony Quinn play?
He played
the mentor, right?
Yeah, the what's his name? That got killed. He was a
Cancer.
country.
It was cancer, right?
Yeah, I mean he died of cancer. Yeah, O'Neill De La Croce, brilliant. He was brilliant in that. Watch that movie. It's one of the
will.
best you'll ever see. You guys watch it. It's terrific, really.
Gotti. I mean, I don't know. What, Mike, do
ever
you have any
front-
more questions?
You ever front Gotti's kids, Sammy's kids? They ever talk to you?
I spoke to Junior. Yeah, I was closer with his daughters and his wife
Yeah.
than I was with Junior. Junior was about 10, 12 years younger than me. Yeah, when I was on the street, he wasn't coming up yet, really.
Now, is Junior doing time right now?
John Junior? No, he's home.
I know he was going through a situation.
Yeah, what they did to him, they took him to trial 4 or 5 times, hung juries. I mean, ridiculous. Waste of money and time and everything else.
That's all a form of killing you, too, that stress.
Yeah.
That's just killing you. Stress.
Stress, plus, listen, I was on trial 7 months with Giuliani. 7 months. I get acquitted. Cost me well over $1 million. I had $1 million bail between investigators, lawyers, and plus I had to prepare for the case every day for a year prior to going to trial. So they get you one way or the other.
Yeah. What was it that made you say, I'm out of this?
Well, for me, I met a young girl. She's now my wife for 35 years, and
Nice.
I met her on a movie set I was producing. But, I just realized that the life was over as we knew it, and I became too high profile. I knew they would never leave me alone. Until they put me away forever. It would never happen. So I said, let me try to make a break. I moved out to California. I mean, it didn't work out. I mean, everybody got upset with me.
Yeah, how does that go? I mean, you probably can't just walk away.
No, I had a lot of trouble. I mean, a lot of trouble, Mike. My former boss, he had got convicted on the mob commission case, and he went Persico. He just died in March. But
Wow.
if he was on the street, I would have had trouble because he took it very personal when I left. Very personal. He was very upset with me. But
Was it even
They pretty much
something?
own you, right?
yeah, I mean,
Mom,
you
It wasn't something like you can go and have a conversation.
no,
You can't.
I wouldn't have left the room.
Yeah.
Guys, how did you survive? I said, well, you got to understand something. One of the dangers of that life is, like I said, they walk you in a room, you don't walk out again.
Yeah.
So I spent 20 years in that life. I knew it intimately well. I knew what the guys would do and what they wouldn't do. So what do? I move out to California. I change my whole lifestyle. What do I mean? I don't go in any more clubs. I don't walk my dog at 7 o'clock every morning. I don't go to the same restaurant every Tuesday night because you create a pattern in your life of guys are looking for you. Okay, we know how to get this guy. So I just really was very disciplined in that. And, it's one thing to walk you in a room. Okay, it's another thing to send a hit squad across the country, kill you, and get away with it because you go away for life for murder. So, and then, over a period of years, I just outlasted everybody. Man, everybody is dead. They're dead or in prison. Everybody.
Yeah.
Did you ever have a situation like, every now and then you be around and somebody come in and he made you nervous?
Oh, yeah. I seen, my antenna was always up, so I'm always watching. I get home.
I'm talking
one-
about a guy that you know. And
Yeah,
he makes me nervous.
Mike, I was in church in Jersey. I stayed out in New York for 10 years, right? I go to church. I'm speaking at this church in Jersey, and I see 3 guys from my life walk in. Different crew, but I knew them all. I said, man, this is going to be my first confrontation, right? So I walk right up to them. I said, what do you guys want? I said, we came here to see you. I said, what do you want to see me about? It's like the old came right back, right? And he said, no, we want to hear you speak. I said, really? He said, yeah. I said, okay. And then their wives walked in after them. So I said, okay. I said, this is legit as far as why they're here. But right away, I said, this is going to be a problem, I mean, look, I see somebody that, because, look, I'm out there all the time. I'm in public everywhere. I speak all over the world. And, and you don't know who's there or who's coming up to you. You're signing books and you see a guy. So I'm always kind of leery. I'm always watching. Let's put it that way.
You don't ever think of a guy out there like, fuck, this for old time's sake.
Yeah.
For the old players. Boom.
Yeah, somebody wants to make a name for themselves.
Yeah.
You're in a club. They notice me. Make a call to New York. I walk out in the parking lot. Boom, I'm gone. You gotta think about it.
Happens so quick, huh?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't live in fear. I'm being honest with you. I mean, you can't live like that. But I'm aware. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
That stuff has to, it just has so much influences on people. Mob life,
Yeah.
That
mindset.
They dedicated a whole museum in Vegas for it.
The Mob Museum,
Yeah, it was awesome, too.
Did you go through there, Mike?
Yeah.
it's
How, is
a
it
good
still
job.
there?
Yeah.
How long's it been
It's
there?
not going nowhere.
5 years.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Not going nowhere.
Every year they're doing
a lot
better.
of people coming there.
Hell yeah, dude. That's really interesting stuff. I mean,
But and they did a good job with it, really. It's good. They did a really good job with it. It's a good place.
it's awesome. Have to check that out for sure. Do you have any questions from this mic?
What's up, Mike?
And Mike, I told him when I first met him just now, I said, you know what, I have a lot of respect for Mike because he's just so honest and sincere. I mean, I noticed that over the years watching you so many times. And I respect him because he's a survivor. He went through all of this stuff. And look, when you go through all of this stuff in life and you come out, you don't have to say on top, but you come out in the position you're in now, you got to respect that. And I have a lot of respect for that. And I'm not just blowing smoke. I'm being honest with you.
I'm just grateful. I don't know what's going to happen. Sometimes, I was just relapsed on drugs and OD'd a year ago. It's all about giving up. Just submitting to life. And I tell you I wanted to say when you said you was a man of faith, I think everybody, even the atheists, when it comes some part of their life, it comes that, well, I do believe, I'm a believer.
Yeah.
And you can't die. You know, if you have any kind of real logic of who you are, it's almost I don't know, because I don't know how people think. But how do you die? You go into your grave believing that there's no greater being than you, that you're the greatest force in the world, and there's nothing greater than you that you have to bow to. How do you go to your grave thinking that?
It's hard. I'll tell you what, Mike, that night that they walked me in that room, I grew up as a Catholic, but I wasn't religious at all. But I was praying, man. You think you're meeting your maker, you
But
pray.
what do they say? Have you been, this is what I wanted to ask you. Have you been around like this and you knowing this guy's getting ready to die soon?
Yeah.
And then like we're all hanging out, like all of us in here, and we're all drinking, talking just like right now. And you know, this guy's gonna die in probably 20 minutes, if not an hour. If he's lucky, in an hour, huh?
Yeah, it's tough. It really is. I mean, you got to have kind of an animal nature if it doesn't bother you. Yeah. You know, look, you know, I did things in that life that were very unpleasant. But what you do is, you know, you kind of step outside of yourself for a minute.
Do you hear them beg for their life?
Yeah.
You hear them beg. You hear them. Do you see? You fucking smell the shit when they die and the shit comes out.
Most of the time, they don't know what's happening. You know, if they walked in a room, it's boom, and that's the end of that. You know, they don't even know. But yeah, I mean, I've seen guys pretty scared.
Have they ever walked in the room and said, "Is everything gonna be all right, Mike"? Have you ever heard somebody say that? Yeah.
On the way there.
Yeah, Mike, is everything gonna be all right?
Yes, everything's good. You know, it's not a good feeling.
And you know some guys that feel that they know something's gonna happen. You can feel that too. They know something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, when you get that sense, it's tough. You know, you can't mask it. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, you can't mask that.
But sure. it must be a pit. When that happened, you must say something's different today. You have to feel that feeling. You know, something's just different today. Yeah. You may not know you're gonna die, but you must be something's different today.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Cause my mentor, it's funny, he knew Italians and knew some mob guys, but he always disliked the mob. He said the only people they hurt was Italian people. He was mad at that. Mm-hmm. He didn't like that. Cuss was one of those old Italians born in 1906. Like, you know those guys from...
Was he born in the U.S., Cuss?
I think so, yeah. He was the only one born here. But
in New York?
Yeah, but he's the kind of Italian guy that said, like, if he looked at these guys, what are those guys? Paulie D and those guys. What's those guys' name? Come on, you know Paulie D and those guys?
From the shows?
You know what I'm talking about? Jersey Shore. Oh. Jersey Shore. Like, cuz he's an older guy, so he say he's 70, he's 60 or 70. If he sees Jersey Shore, he'll say they're not Italians.
Uh-huh.
I agree with
you. No, he'll say they're not Italians. But that's what he would say. And so I would never say it because you couldn't say nothing. But I was like, why would Cuz say they're not Italians? In my mind. How does he, what's he going to mean they're not Italians? Yeah. I didn't understand it, but he had that pride. Italians have dignity and pride.
It's just like the worst show on ever was Mob Wives. Oh my God, I saw that. It just
what was the deal with that?
Mike, they weren't even mob wives. They were, I don't know what they were. You know, I never seen anything like that in my life. It was horrible. And I had what, 3 or 4 seasons?
Yeah. Is it still going?
No, I don't.
It might be.
I hope not. It got me sick.
Did you know this girl?
No, I knew Sammy Gravano's daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew his daughter. And I knew, well, Greg Scarpa's daughter wasn't in it, but we did an interview together once. But that was a sick shit.
You're probably like, now it's a charade. Now
it was
all
ridiculous. I mean, look, first of all, Mob Wives, they didn't know anything. We never said a word to them about anything. They didn't know nothing, you know. And girlfriend maybe knows a little bit more, but the wife, never.
It's interesting that you said when those dudes came into the church and you saw their wives, you knew that they weren't there.
Yeah.
You
but
knew
you know,
were
with
safe.
that mob guy, you know, you always being in a mob, like guys like Al Capone and John Gotti, and you see John Gotti's niece, Adidra, I believe. I was watching on YouTube, and she still to this day she's trying to clean that name up. Everybody's cleaning that name up. They fucking all of them stop using the name Al Capone. Then it always followed them. You know what I mean? And then when she does that, and then people look at her like, what the fuck you mean? Al Capone's a fucking man. What are you trying to clean up? You know what I mean? You fucking his image up. You know, that's because people men look at guys like Al Capone. So what the fuck you mean? What's wrong with him? That's a boss. That's what they did. Gotti's a boss. What's wrong with him? He gave us our balls, our manhood. What the fuck is it? You know.
I hear more today because of the state of our government. I can't tell you how many guys said the mob would have run the government. I mean, they run the country better than the government.
Oh, absolutely.
And I said,
They say
Actually,
in
Probably.
Vegas. That's what
Yeah,
they say in
probably.
Vegas. They said it was better when the mob had it.
Oh,
That's what
much
they say in
better.
Vegas.
Vegas
That's what they
today,
say. That's
forget
all you hear the
about
old school. You hear all the old school guys say that. It was better when
Yeah,
the mob.
forget about
There was
Vegas
no
today, but back
robberies,
then-
no gangbang, no shootouts out here.
You can't even get a meal on a comp. You got to spend $100,000 to get a meal. Nothing. When we ran,
And that's
back,
what we
back
live
in the
for,
day,
the buffets. That's what we live for in Vegas, the buffets.
back in the day, it was
legit.
so much better. But everybody says that. They said when you guys were
Yeah,
here,
that's what I
it
heard
was
too.
So
When I went
much
to
better.
Vegas, it was so much better. No muggings.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
So interesting.
You're too young to remember, but back in the 70s and 80s, I loved Vegas back then.
You were free. You were adapted. That you knew not to fuck with nobody. You knew who
Right.
to fuck with. You know,
Yeah.
you come in here with these white Italians, don't fuck with them.
Don't fuck with
You know
that.
not to fuck with. You be fine missing some fucking way. You know you'll never be seen again. That kind of shit.
Wow. It's amazing. Well, Michael, it's been a pleasure having
What do
you
you
here,
do,
man.
Mike? Like, where you going right now? Like after
What's next?
Going home. Thursday I go to Alabama. I'm going to speak at
Oh, yeah.
Alabama.
That'd be awesome.
That's awesome.
I got that. I got a couple more schools this year. Then, I speak in churches a lot, Mike. I'm writing books. Got a book for you, by the way.
All right.
Evan, I didn't know I would have brought one, but I'm
I'll
going to send
borrow
one.
my- yeah,
I'm gonna
please
send
send
I'm
it.
gonna send. I got your address, and
I'd
I'm going
love
to send
that.
to you and Frenchie. And
I'd love that.
I'm doing a television show.
Old Italians are people from the neighborhood who not mob related, but they're deep into it, but they're not, in the mob.
Yeah.
Then they say, "Hey, you made the right decision."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I
all
knew
the
they
time.
probably said. A lot of those guys really feel that way, but they can't say it
I
publicly.
can't say it, right. No, I'm
Hell, living that life.
Yeah.
You're pretty much a serf. You're a serf. Slave, basically.
Yeah.
You're owned by people.
So I'm doing that. I'm going on tour in United Kingdom in October.
Awesome.
I'll be in Cabo next week. I'm going to go down there for a week to rest.
Nice.
And that's it. Life is good. No complaints. Still have your challenges and struggles, but you get
Never
past
gonna
it.
stop. It's
Yeah,
never
That's
gonna
awesome.
stop.
Yeah.
It's always, one day to the next. You never know. But
Yeah. One day at a time.
But you have to think about, you must think, God, all this shit was exciting. Did this really actually exist? I think about my life. I said, what happened to all these tough guys on the corner and hanging? Did this really actually exist? Was my life a lie? This really, what happened? It doesn't exist no
real?
more.
Yeah.
That's a lost art. You'll never see anybody on the corner no more.
no.
What's a lost art? People hanging out on the corner. You
Yeah.
always knew where to find somebody. You go to the corner. Now you don't know
Exactly.
where to find nobody.
Now you don't even let your kids out in the front of the house to play. I can't believe it.
Gunfire.
I mean, honestly.
That's why I don't do it. I'm scared somebody. And then I live in a great neighborhood. I'm just scared anything could happen. Gunfire, car run on the. I'm just scared.
Nothing better happen over there, Mike.
Possible, man. Anything.
So, we got to get together out there.
I would love
For
to.
sure, yeah. I live across street from Fashion Island, right over there.
And I'm in Pelican Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pelican.
Do you golf, Mike?
No, fuck
No?
me. But I had a but talking about a golf.
We had a
tournament.
great golf tournament.
We had a golf,
Yeah.
awesome golf.
What was
tournament.
that? 2
At
weeks
Pelican?
ago?
Yeah, no.
No, it was at Monarch.
Oh, at Monarch. Monarch's
Yeah,
great. I
Monarch was
golfed.
beautiful.
Yeah,
And
it's
Norm
beautiful.
Nixon won.
Beautiful. Oh, that's right. You know what? My son was telling me, but I was out of town. He said, Mike's having this. That's right, at Monarch. Monarch's
He'll come
a
to
great
the next
course.
one.
For sure.
We want to buy a house over there. My wife want to buy a house over there now.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Where in
Monarch.
Monarch is beautiful, yeah.
Yeah. it
Really
was-
nice.
it was
That
awesome.
whole area, how can you beat it?
You can't, man.
Hey, you like horses? You have horses back in the day? Did you run?
I had a trotter for
You know, does this thing work? Man, I saw a horse in it the other day, the beautiful horse in the world, and I said, I want the horse. I don't know. I never had a horse in my life, never knew nothing about it. I don't like horses, but I saw this horse, and it's the most beautiful.
You're going to buy it?
I'm going to get I don't know where I'm going to keep it. I'm going to take it home with me, put it in the backyard somewhere. A tenth of an acre where I live. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A tenth of an acre. Kahal Ataki. It's an Arabian horse.
Arabian horse?
What's it called?
Come in here, brother.
Kahar?
A car Ataki. No,
Car?
he's going to tell you right now. He's going to tell you.
Frenchie.
AKH.
AKH.
A. Yeah, you would
Oh,
say-
a
There you go
call
right there.
techie.
There you go right there. I'm getting this
Oh,
horse.
yeah. Man, that is a beautiful
I'm
horse.
fucked up right now. Look at this horse. I'm so in love with this horse. I don't know. What am I
You
doing?
ride horses?
No. I just want to have this horse.
Or you're just
is
in love with it?
Yeah. It's the oldest horse breed that ever lived. It's around six.
beautiful.
It's around
What do they
six-
want for it,
It's
Mike?
around $6. Only $10,000, but it
That's
costs
it?
a lot to
To
Yeah,
keep it, yeah.
take
to keep-
care
So
of
I
it.
gotta find out.
You gotta have a stable.
I'm
Yeah,
That's
but
what
in
I'm looking
Tustin,
for.
right around there, we got horse ranches
Yeah, that's
right
what I
around
found. They
us.
told me. I
Yeah.
didn't know how much it cost.
Close by.
What's it gonna be like $2 million or
You
something?
gonna go
I'll
ride it?
find out for you.
Huh? Yeah, I would love that.
You gonna be riding it?
I just want to hold it, kiss it,
wanna
rub it.
walk
I
around
want
with
to get.
it?
I want to get a young baby around 6 months or something. It's great.
It's a beautiful horse.
It's beautiful.
Look, it's born like that with metallic fur. It's born like that.
Yeah, huh?
Wow.
All of them have metallic fur.
Look at the ears.
Yeah,
Yeah.
look at that one. Fuck. Look at all. And they don't have no subcutaneous fat.
No?
They're all muscle. There's no fat. Like, the thoroughbred has fat and they burn the fat off. This has no fat on it.
Wow.
No fat. No body
is
fat
beautiful.
whatsoever. It's total muscle. 100% muscle.
It's
100%.
beautiful.
Incredible.
That's the
Look how
next
beautiful.
thing. I'm
Yeah,
like,
Beautiful.
This is my next love.
I love it. Maybe you have a horse ranch.
I don't know, but on our property we could put a horse ranch.
Yeah.
Well, you get that horse, you're going to be one around it all the time.
Oh, absolutely. I want
Yeah,
to. I
you'll
want to
be-
get
you-
really
you
young.
wanna be around it.
And I think we should get two. To
Yeah?
breed. You should have two.
Male and a
And breed 'em.
female.
Yeah, I haven't been like crazy. Look at this shit, man. See the metallic fur on them? I've never been this
Yeah,
crazy.
they got 12 packs. Look at them.
Yeah,
Look at
they're
the side.
beautiful. Look, no fucking fat. Golly.
That is beautiful.
They're 7,000 years old. The
Wow.
breed.
That's amazing. A Kalteki.
I never heard of it.
They fought against the Russian Empire, and the Russians beat them, and so they took all the horses.
Wow. It's amazing. Mike, you have to take it. We'll have to do a hot boxing at the horse ranch.
Yeah, I like to do that.
That'd be dope, man.
I don't even know why I never wanted the horse, never thought about a horse, don't think about racing. I just want to possess it.
When did you see it?
3 days ago.
Where, like online or?
I was on a YouTube and I saw this thing say the 7th most beautiful animals in the world. I said, oh, let's check this shit out. I'm an animal guy. I used to have tigers and lions and shit. So I said, let's check this out. And I'm looking at it, beautiful. Yeah, I'm seeing the white lion and stuff. And then I realized the white lion, from nature's perspective, is interesting. Is a mistake. Something so beautiful is a mistake. So God made a mistake, something that beautiful. And so we went to the horse, and I saw the horse, and I said, holy shit. I wanted it. I didn't know, fuck. I never had a horse, never was crazy about horses. And I said, I want that.
Well, it's awesome.
That's a beauty.
And I made all the calls to it and everything, and then I got to go to this place, Turkestan, where they originate from.
You're going there?
Yeah.
Is that your next trip?
That's, well, if it's
In a
not,
couple weeks?
If it's not, I'll make it part of it.
Oh, okay.
If it's necessary, before it gets too cold.
Yeah. It's awesome, man.
Great time.
Well, thank you so
I'm
much.
glad you found me, Evan.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you.
glad
I'm
have
glad
peace,
you
bro.
came.
Yeah, Mike.
Really glad you came.
Yeah,
Thank
for
you.
sure. We got to get together. We'll get a number
Absolutely.
I get
All
from
right.
Frenchie. We'll meet up out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That'd be beautiful.
I
Do
could-
you
I-
know Chris Pacello?
Who?
Do you know Chris Pacello?
I know who he is, yeah.
Mike, I'll take us out.
Go for it, nigga.
Oh, man. Thanks for watching and listening, everybody. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Hotboxing with Mike Tyson. Check out our website, hotboxingpodcast.com. Until next time, I'm Evan Britton.
I'm Mike Tyson.
I'm Mike Franzese.
Do you want anybody to know where you at? Talk to you, get in touch with you?
Yeah, it's
any kind of
okay.
way?
I'm all over YouTube, michaelfranzese.com. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, the whole bit. So you want to get in touch with me, you don't have to go through Mike. You can come direct.
Yeah.
Boom. Hit him direct. All right, everybody. We're
Thank
out of
you.
here.
Okay.
That was cool.
Yeah, Chris Pacello's a good friend of mine.
Oh, is he? Yeah.
Yeah.